Hey guys, welcome back to the third video of this series. So today we're going to be looking at the features of the organisms, particularly the five kingdoms. So the first kingdom you have is animal or animalia. Okay, so this kingdom have a true nucleus. Their cells have a true nucleus, which means that they belong to the domain, the eukaryote domain. Second of all, they don't have a cell wall. They're multicellular and they feed on organic matters that other organisms produce. Okay, but the important thing is that the other organisms are already dead, and animals are heterotrophics, which mean they cannot make their own energy, so they have to rely on consuming other organisms or organic matters from other organisms to could make their own energy. And animals store excess glucose as glycogen. So in our case, in humans' case, we store excess glucose as glycogen in the muscle cells and in the liver cells. So 70% of the glycogens will be stored in the liver cells, and the 30% will be distributed to different muscle cells around our body. The second kingdom is plants, and they have a true nucleus, which means they are also in the eukaryote domain. They have a cell wall, which is made of cellulose, and they provide rigidity and support to the cell. So, as you can see on the diagram to the left, the cell wall is the green layer outside, protecting and supporting the cell content. So, if the cell is filled with too much water, or it becomes plasmalized, it won't burst because the cell wall is holding the plant cell together. It also have pores to allow water or molecules in and out. So the cell wall is essentially permeable. They are multicellular and they have chloroplasts. So they use chloroplasts for photosynthesis, and this makes them autotrophic because they can produce their own energy through photosynthesis. And they store excess glucose as starch or sucrose. The next kingdom is fungi, and they also have a true nucleus, which again puts them in the eukaryote domain. They have a cell wall, but it's made of chitin, not cellulose, and its function is still the same as the cell wall of a plant. They can either be unicellular or multicellular. So in the unicellular case, you have yeast, right, bread mold. Multicellular, you have mushrooms. Okay, they gain nutrients by extracellular digestion, and you can see here that you secrete enzymes out of body. So what happens is they secrete enzymes out of the body to dissolve food and reabsorb back through diffusion. That is the definition of extracellular digestion. But however, fungi are saprophytes. Okay, saprophytes. So which means that they consume. Okay, they sometimes rely the nutrients on a live organism, so they're still alive, which is parasitics because you're basically eating other organisms alive and using them as a food source. So you have diseases like athlete's foot, something like that, because the fungi is living in your body. It's heterotrophic because it cannot make its own energy, and it stores excess glucose as glycogen. The next kingdom is Protoctist, and this is the last kingdom in the Eukarya domain. Some have souls, remember that? Or some doesn't have souls. The structure is pretty similar to the bacteria one or the prokaryotes, the fifth kingdom, but they don't have. They instead they have a nucleus. It's like a true one, the true nucleus. Bacteria don't, which differentiates them from bacteria, and they can either be unicellular or multicellular. So an example is seaweed or sea anemone. Yeah, so those are examples of Protoctist, and some of them have chloroplasts. Okay, so which makes some of them autotrophic and some of them heterotrophics because the ones who have chloroplasts are autotrophics, and the ones who don't will be heterotrophic. Finally, we get on to our last kingdom, which is prokaryotes or bacteria, and they don't have a true nucleus, which separates them into a different domain than us. Okay, they have a cell wall, but not made of cellulose or chitin, but of peptidoglycan, and the function is the same. They are unicellular, and they don't have a mitochondria because they don't, pr- uh, use they don't use aerobic respiration a lot. Most of them use anaerobic, because and also because they don't have mitochondria. Aerobic respiration happens in the cytoplasm directly. And finally, this is a different sub chapter, and this is the dichotomous key, and we're going to finish covering chapter one of the book, the IGCSE extended book. So dichotomous key is just a way of separating organisms based on the observable physical appearances. So this vertebrae, I'm not sure what type it is, um, but vertebrae is essentially organisms with a backbone, and human belongs to the vertebrate group, right? Because of course we have a backbone, and so first of all, does it have fur? You look at the physical appearances or physical characteristics of it. So if it has fur, then it is a mammal. If it's not, then you keep moving down. If it has feather, then it's a bird. No, you keep moving down again. Does it have dry skin? Yes, then it's a reptile. No, keep moving down again. Does it have scales? Yes, it's a fish. No, it's an amphibian. So essentially, these are vertebrates. All of this mammals, birds, reptiles, fishes, and amphibians are vertebrates. They belong to the vertebrate phylum. But because of their physical characteristics, they're different physically, like on the appearances, they are classified differently. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.